Hey, Jesse.
Hello, Lindsay.
What are you drinking today?
Today is a special day.
Is it?
Yes.
Why is it special?
Blackberry, Bam-ba-lam. On
Blackberry,
everything.
You're not drinking a Blackberry Celsius.
No. I have a Celsius just to sip on because I want to be all geeked up. Mm-hmm. But I got Blackberry White Claw. I stole it from you, and I'm not allowed to have them, but I took it anyhow. And
Blackberry Crown.
Blackberry Crown.
Heard.
Blackberry with the Bam-ba-lam and the Bam-ba-lam of the Bam-ba-lam. And what are you drinking?
I have got me a double watermelon White Claw with that Galaxy Celsius that you brought home. It's strawberry watermelon. So I was like, let me mix that with my watermelon White Claw.
That sounds out of this world.
It's very good.
With the Galaxy.
Galaxy Claw.
Sounds good. It sounds good.
It's very good.
What are we going to talk about?
We're on part 2 of Aileen Wuornos. We're about to get into
I've just been like this all week because of this. Like, I really have been like...
And I've also been researching for our next case, which will also be a 2-parter on the Gainesville Ripper. And I'm nauseous.
And I am jealous.
Why are you jealous?
Because you got fishnets on. You look so damn good.
Oh, thank you. It's just a little fishnet top.
So damn good, Lindsay.
Because I'm wearing a Nirvana shirt, and when I got it, I cut it a little too wide in the neck. So I got to wear something underneath it, kind of.
It's like a cross between, listen, y'all. It's like a cross between Nirvana, Coal Chamber, and Rave from 1997.
Oh, I'm in my 90s era for real today. Yeah.
So it's 1997 with a rave and a grunge and a little bit of hardcore in there. I love it.
Thank you.
You were on fire.
Yeah, we're gonna head to dinner with my best friend, and her daughter is turning 21 today. So
doesn't that make you feel old?
So old. That's the thing that makes me feel old.
That's the thing that makes you feel old right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I didn't have a change jar pull my shoulder out this week. So
the thing that makes me feel old is working 6 days a week.
Yeah.
That'll make you feel old.
Yes.
Real quick.
Well, I've done it.
Yeah.
In my time, plenty of times. Remember, there was a whole summer where I didn't have a day off for like 3 months.
I know.
Because I was working like 3 different positions.
You were trogening. Oh, it was like the battle of the bastards where everybody's all squeezing in on you.
Oh, that battle gives me the biggest anxiety feeling ever when they're just trampling over Jon Snow and he can't breathe. And I'm like, get off my boy.
And Lindsay's like literally holding her breath, like in the middle of him all squozed up trying to grab air. And she's
Not
all
squozed.
Well, he's squozed.
He is squozed.
He's squozed. Game of Thrones is our jam, y'all.
Yes. We're on season 7.
Yeah, we're on 7.
We just started 7.
We're fixing to do some shit. Yeah. I love it. It is really cool. Hey, I checked out some statistics real quick before we fire this thing all the way off a little bit. So we're in the biggest city that we're in is Los Angeles, California.
Wow.
Yeah, the biggest city that we're in. The second biggest is Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
So thank you, Los Angeles.
Thank you, Los Angeles and Atlanta.
A-Town, hot town.
Yeah, A-Town. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hotlanta.
A-Town. I'll get it right.
Hotlanta, A-Town.
Hotlanta.
Then City of Angels and
then Freakville
L.A.
is after that. Freakville is after that. So that's really cool.
That's Jacksonville for our listeners.
Yeah. Freakville. My Freakvillians. Y'all holler at us and say what's up. And it goes on down from there. Lake City's like 4th. That's where we live. And then I did another one. Hang on. The global positioning. So we're in 9 countries.
Nice.
That's cool that our little project is reaching out to 9 different countries.
Yes,
it's really
it is.
cool. We just picked up Singapore. I think that's Turkey.
Wow.
Ireland, Australia, South Korea.
Hello, Ireland.
And we got some mates in the United Kingdom. Hello.
Awesome. Hello. We're going to be, after Gainesville Ripper, we're going to be traveling over there.
Yeah, we're
not literally, but our story.
And I got some music that I'll play with that one because I got some music from overseas.
The next few are going to be 2-parters, guys.
And there's a lot of serial killers coming.
serial killers, couples killers. Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So-
After Gainesville, we're going to get out of Florida. Or after the Gainesville Ripper, we're going to get out of Florida for a while. Because we've kind of hung out here for a little bit. But there's a lot.
There's a lot
So
everywhere.
it's like a little Florida miniseries.
There's a lot everywhere. And
Yeah, there is.
Like, I knew, but I didn't know. And now you're telling me, like, now I'm in the know. And you got like 300 cases ready. You're like, dude, we can go forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, goodness. Okay.
I'm literally adding every single day to my agenda. So
yeah. So that's exciting to see
Yes.
our little stats and stuff and watch it build. I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for everything. You know, this is the feedback that we want, and it's great. And I'm just going to fire this thing off.
yeah, we need to get it rolling.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy
Here we
Friday.
go. This shit bombs. I love it.
What?
So, Lindsay, did you have a great week, though?
It's still slow season in the restaurant industry, so I'm ready for people to get their tax returns back and come
Yeah, come spend the
dine.
monies.
Come dine, yes.
Take the fam out. That's awesome. Work for me has just been challenging. So I work in construction, like road construction, but I do like all the maintenance and purchasing for the repairs and everything. So it's tough, especially when you have certain people that are just unskilled, but that are saying that they're skilled. I don't know if you've noticed that too, like in the workforce.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't mind teaching people, but don't show up and be like, you know everything, but you
I was
don't,
about to say,
you know?
yeah, I'm a trainer at my job, and I see that all the time. Sometimes they come out amazing, and sometimes it's a struggle.
It's tough. But, you know,
It is what it is.
People
That's
are
just life.
doing their thing. I don't really hold it against them, but at the same time, you know, I'm like,
Yeah, we have very average Joe jobs, but
the older you get, though, the less patient you get with people, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, you should know this shit. So, yeah, you can...
Especially when you've been in what we do a piece as long as we have. We're both about 20 years in.
Yeah,
so.
we've been there forever, so we're old crotchety people. we're the ones everybody's looking out for. Watch out for them. Oh,
Yes.
God. So you're going to fire this off,
Yes,
girl?
I'm going to fire this off.
So cheers, everybody.
We're in a little bit of a time crunch, so.
I'm excited, though. Go.
Yes.
Just go.
All right. So last week we gave you some background into Aileen and told you of her horrific childhood, which led her to become a drifter and sex worker and had quite a few run-ins with the law. By 1986, she was in a relationship with a woman named Tyria Moore, who goes by Ty. Tyria Moore was not the innocent child who was embracing her sexuality as portrayed in the character of Selby in the movie Monster. We watched Monster after
it wasn't so,
part one.
Yeah, that was weird to me. That's why I didn't really.
I don't think that.
associate
Yeah, I think they had to change their name for
something
legal
there.
reasons.
Yeah.
They changed her whole story because that's not what happened.
So Tyria
Yeah.
Moore was her amour.
Yes. So she was actually quite the troublemaker herself and would participate in some of the drunken shenanigans that Aileen would be a part of. Now, in 1989, as I mentioned in last episode, Eileen's looks had diminished due to her hard life, and she had had a hard time getting clientele for her sex work career. Ty was also growing tired of her, and she was the love of Eileen's life. And Aileen was trying to do whatever she could to keep her and their party lifestyle going. So on the night of November 30th, 1989, Aileen was stressed out and trying to make some money. It said that her and Ty were trying to get out of the hotel they were living in and get a better place. And Aileen needed to get the money up or Ty was gone. Ty was out. So around 10:30 p.m., a man named Richard Mallory picked up Aileen while she was hitchhiking. Richard was an electronics store owner from Clearwater. While they were driving, he was drinking vodka and smoking a joint while Aileen was drinking beer. They pulled over to a spot to do the deed and continued talking and drinking. Now, this lasted all the way until 5 a.m. before Mallory and Aileen would make their transaction, if you want, we'll call it that.
To seal the deal.
To seal the deal.
Yeah.
So Aileen took off her clothing, and Mallory didn't want to get completely undressed. Aileen was opposed to this and said he wasn't going to zipper fuck her. Aileen says that he...
They was sitting there for like 6 hours.
6 hours.
And he's just like, I'm just going to pull this thing out and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and blanket trigger warning a lot of shit.
So from here forward.
And also know that everything that is said is testimony given by Aileen that she does go back and forth on and that she will change several times. The truth is somewhere in the middle.
It's scattered all the way through everything.
I
did watch a couple of interviews and things with her. She is bouncing, especially like from the beginning to the end, like she bounces back and forth.
Well, let's not forget her father was a diagnosed schizophrenic.
She was definitely.
That is an inherited trait at sometimes. And
so if you do look and you see any of her interviews or anything like on YouTube,
it's rough. And
she's showing traits of that and bipolar, and she shut out.
Yes, very much so. And I mean, and she lived a hard life.
Yeah,
she lived a hard life.
Hardcore.
Yes.
Existence.
So Aileen says that Richard Mallory, that he tied her wrists to the steering wheel and tried to sodomize her, then tied a cord around her neck and started pulling on it. She said she got her hands loose and shot him in the chest until he was dead and watched for around 15 minutes as he bled out.
So at this point, it's almost halfway justifiable.
Well,
but she had planned on doing it, did she?
I don't know. We don't know. So this is what is portrayed in the movie to the first one to be this is the first killing that she did, and this is the point where she snaps.
Yeah.
And it's not 100% clear if this is actually what happened or if she was just so desperate and was tired of doing what she was doing but didn't know how to do anything else. You know what I mean?
I clearly feel like that was the only way that she felt like she could have an existence was to do that kind of work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she then moved him and covered him with a piece of carpet. Now, this was one of her 3 versions of this story. Ty would later on say that Aileen got back to the hotel. She mentioned nothing of rape and had no marks or bruises, and all that Aileen said was, "I killed a man today." But she showed up with a car and money to move into that apartment, and Ty was happy about that. So,
That's so sweet.
Right. Now, like I said, the story of this murder has been told a few different ways, and Richard Mallory had been to prison for rape when he was 19 and was released a few years later. This was up in Maine. He had been a well-known John in the Daytona area, and none of the other sex workers had reported any abuse from their transactions with him. So this was a first. Aileen also wrote a letter to Dawn about this and said that Richard Mallory had talked about his hatred for women and even talked about killing his ex-wife, so she did shoot him in cold blood, and there was no self-defense. That was what was in her letter to Dawn Botkins.
Wow.
The friend that I told you she sends Dawn letters throughout the years.
Yeah.
Mallory became a missing person, and his body was found on December 13th. Now, this was November 30th was when it happened, so they found his body on December 13th. Fast forward to, that was December 13th, 1989. So fast forward to May 19th, 1990. So she had a cooling off period. Aileen was picked up by a 47-year-old construction worker named David Spears from Winter Garden. He was on his way to see his ex-wife and 3 kids, and he did this every weekend. Now, see, David and his wife were divorced, but had remained very close, and he was actually about to ask her to remarry him that weekend.
Wow.
And this particular weekend was also his daughter's 23rd birthday, and he had a lot of cash as a present to her.
So dude was going to ask his old lady to marry him, and he's all like, wait a minute, I got a pocket full of money. He's all like, look, be a lady.
I don't think that's what happened. I don't think that's happened. All right, so like I was going to say in my script, why did he pick up Aileen? We will never know. He was only about 30 minutes from his destination, and it was outside of his character not to be somewhere on time. And for some reason, he drove her 80 miles out of the way, and Aileen said that they got drunk, started fooling around in the cab of the truck, then moved on to the bed of the truck.
So I feel like she was probably trying to hitchhike or do something like that. He got caught up in it and then got caught up in it. Probably
I'm going to
not
get there.
looking.
Hold on.
I don't know. I don't feel like that's very strange. Go ahead.
Yes. So she says that he got violent and she spotted a lead pipe, which prompted her to grab her gun and shoot him dead. She's saying that she thought he was going to rape her with this lead pipe. So before he could, she shot him dead. She left him on the side of the road and took off with the $500 that was meant for his daughter for her birthday. Aileen says that she shot him 3 times, but when he was found, it was actually 6.
Wow.
And he was found naked, but still had his hat on.
She put it back on. It would have fell off.
She says that they didn't have sex, but he was naked and there was an empty condom wrapper. I think that this was a good Samaritan act gone wrong. Yeah,
I think I'm nailing it.
And I think that she held him at gunpoint to take him that far out of the way because she did have a gun and staged the rest.
Right. Clearly, everything that you had said earlier seemed like a stand-up dude. He was just wanting to go and
because it doesn't make any sense. Why are you going to try and pick up a sex worker on your way to your daughter's birthday party? You're only 30 minutes away. You're going to ask your ex-wife to remarry her. I just think that he was just picking her up to give her a ride. Because by this point, picking up hitchhikers was no longer, it was no longer in style it was no longer a good thing to do because there had been so many murders that we will talk about later on.
I'm guilty of picking up hitchhikers myself.
Oh God, not me. Well, I'm a woman. But the only hitchhikers that were being picked up at this point in time were women because they figured that women were in distress.
I've never picked up a female hitchhiker.
Wow.
I've only picked up male hitchhikers.
Do you know?
I've picked up 3 in my lifetime.
My poor granny, God rest her soul, my wayward uncle talked her into picking up a hitchhiker one time. And I want to say this was late 90s, early 2000s, who was dressed like a woman, but ended up being a man. And they robbed, person robbed my granny. Yeah. My granny went through some shit. That's just like.
Really has. If anybody else has any stories about hitchhikers. Yes. So the last one that I picked up. Yeah, like I said, if you have any stories about them, let us know. I want to hear some hitchhiker stories.
Yeah, we'll make an episode about it.
Oh, so the one I picked up, though, we talked about the Beatles the whole way.
Really?
Yeah, I was on my way to Mobile, Alabama. This dude rode with me damn near all the way there.
My dad picked up hitchhikers when I was the only other person in the car with him when I was younger, which didn't bother me then. Yeah. But now as an adult looking back, I'm like, what the fuck, Dad?
The only thing that bothered me was the guy didn't smell very good.
Oh.
But
he would have been out.
I literally rolled down the windows and I wanted to hear his story. Oh. I really did. I was more intrigued because I had the 5-hour journey from here to Mobile. Picked him up as soon as I got on I-10.
So you just wanted some company.
Yeah. I had a long drive.
And you were by yourself?
By myself.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
I ballsed up.
I'm so glad you survived that.
And this was a big, burly dude, too. And I was just like, come on in.
Damn. How old were you?
23? No, I must have been 25. I was 25.
Still.
Yeah.
But you're a large, intimidating man.
Yeah, but I didn't feel like I was. I didn't think that when I don't know why. He kind of, the military jacket, the bag, and everything. I was like,
Well, a lot of them wear that for sympathy.
Well, I mean,
shit. I know
it wasn't that. I didn't think that he was a veteran. We didn't even talk about that. I was just.
I'm glad that you had a good experience with that, and I'm glad that the ones my dad picked up while I was a young female in the car did not go wrong. But
yeah.
Absolutely never.
And then the other two, it was just...
For me, I would never.
Short jump,
Because I was a single mom for a long time, and, I already knew about hitchhiking type killings, so there was absolutely
no you've been around me for so long, though. You know that I get intrigued in people's lives things, and, real shit that really happened, so... That's why I'm offering, somebody tell me your story about hitchhiker. I get intrigued by that, so that's really cool. Go back to the old flap trap.
Okay. So 2 weeks later, on May 31st, 1990, let me go back and see when that date was. So David Spears was May 19th. Okay, so now we're on May 31st. shorter cool-off period. She was picked up by Charles Karskaden. I want to say that that's how you pronounce it. I think so. Karskaden or Karskaden. Charles Karskaden, who was 40 years old and a part-time rodeo worker. He was on his way to pick up his fiancée and head to Missouri, where he had just been hired as a punch press operator. I meant to Google what that was and forgot. Do you know?
Punch press operator?
Mm-hmm. Is that like a factory worker?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's stamping out metal, I think.
So Aileen shot him because he had a pistol in his back seat. So in her mind, that meant that he was going to kill her. So she says.
He's just a good old boy.
So she shot him 9 times.
Never meaning no harm.
She dumped his body, wrapped it in an electric blanket, and then went home to Ty. They went out and played target practice with his gun.
What?
She later pawned his gun with her fingerprints, but used one of her aliases, and this will later on.
A serial number on. I guess Florida didn't check it that much then. Eh?
Well, they use fingerprints. I'm really not sure, but I know the fingerprints end up.
Oh, a thing. Okay, cool.
Next, she was picked up by Peter Sims, who was 65 and a retired merchant seaman. He was now a missionary and was headed to Arkansas from Jupiter, Florida. Aileen said they had planned to make their transaction in a blanket in the woods. Remember that scene from Monster?
Oh, that was a missionary?
Well, that in the true story, it was, yes. Aileen says that he was about to rape her. So she shot him and left his body right there and where he lied and took the car.
I bet I know what position he was going to get in.
Stop it.
Sorry.
She was very drunk at this time and later on couldn't remember where his body was, and he has never been found.
Really?
Never. His body's never been
He
found.
got ate up by one of them gators.
Probably. Or any other
critter.
thing that lives in our woods and forests.
Yeah, there's some critters over there.
So up until now, she had been dumping the cars after a couple of days, but she liked this one and kept it a little while longer. This was a Pontiac Sunbird. Do you remember what those?
Yeah, a little sporty kind of. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Up and down Daytona in the Sunbird.
And she actually kept one of the many Bibles that was in this car in her and Ty's apartment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
wow. This dude was...
So,
maybe he probably picked her up too. Like, I think that there was...
I think all of the rest of the one after the first one, I think Richard Mallory might have tried to rape her. Honestly,
Yeah.
I really think so.
Yeah.
Or do something that she didn't want to do and it went too far.
Yeah.
But the rest of these, I believe, were
like,
all good Samaritans.
So the good old boy, the missionary, like it sounds like good-hearted people that are probably just
we're not even halfway done. So
oh God,
yeah.
Now you get me, Lindsay. I'm sipping.
So
I'm sipping. You're
Yeah.
tripping because I'm sipping.
And I'm just going to go ahead and prepare you for at least part 2, definitely part 2 of the Gainesville Ripper. You're going to need shots.
Shots on the Gainesville Ripper.
Part 2. Oh. So go ahead and make that mental note.
No, I really do. I feel like these were dudes that were just picking her up, thinking that they were just going to give her a ride somewhere. And she just
like I said, she had already started using the kid
and then
the
talked
kid
her
pictures,
away.
the
She
fake
probably,
kid pictures,
as
a ploy to get sympathy, to get money,
up to the point where I'll do you a favor.
But she was killing, and she was seeing how easy it was to cap these fuckers and take their shit.
Yeah, it was just a ride, but it turned into like, oh, well, I'll give you $20, and now you're all these innuendos and all these things. Flap trap.
All right, so on the 4th of July, Ty and Aileen were drinking and having a good time while out driving this Sunbird. And Ty crashed the car into a ditch in a neighborhood with a lot of houses.
Let freedom ring. They was drunk.
This whole story is drunk driving. Like all of it. Every bit of it. There is no sober. There's no sober. Period.
That's in the movie, just portrayed like in the movie too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
So people came running out to help, but Aileen and Ty pieced the fuck out. The people didn't get their names, of course, but the faces were remembered because they had memorable faces. And some sketches were drawn up and put out on the news. None of the murders so far had connected themselves because they were in different jurisdictions because she was hitchhiking everywhere. I mean, this one guy was in Jupiter and, they were everywhere. And then that other one, the second one, she took him 80 miles out of the way, David Spears.
Right.
So, and that I believe that was on purpose.
All across Florida.
Not just to have some sex, but because she held his ass at gunpoint. This is my belief that she held him at gunpoint to take him way out so she could get her shit.
That makes more sense too. Like once she's in the car, she's in control.
Because she's got a gun. All you got to do is point it at somebody's head and they're going to do what you ask them to do. Yeah. Especially a man who's trying to go home.
Wasn't there one like by Cedar Key too? Or something like
I don't know. Okay, so
Florida?
There's 7 total. We're only on 4.
Really?
Yeah.
7? Mm-hmm. This is a big one to me.
Yeah.
Lindsay.
This is a serial killer. This is our first serial killer.
Not even Frosted Flakes, just Frosted Flaps.
So,
sorry.
They didn't connect. They also didn't connect a woman to these because she killed like a man. Poison is usually a woman's weapon. And I agree with this. Poison is much quicker.
And those, okay, only one
messy.
was a known John. So like everybody else, they have things going on in life. Right. Yeah, it clearly, every one of these dudes don't seem like Johns. They do not seem like they frequent the street brothels.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said before, by this time, most people that were picked up from hitchhiking were women because it had become outdated to pick up
Hi, chicken.
It had become outdated to pick up hitchhiking men because of previous killings and robberies made by male hitchhikers.
Wow.
Now, next, Aileen was picked up by Troy Burris, a 50-year-old sausage salesman from Ocala.
I bet he was a sausage salesman.
His body was found horribly decomposed on July 31st, and he had been shot twice. There's not a lot more on him. Next was 56-year-old Charles Humphreys, who was a retired Air Force major, former chief of police, and at that time was a CPS investigator.
All not Johns.
Not Johns.
Not Johns.
Right.
Yeah.
He was killed on September 11th, 1990, and was discovered the next day by some kids. Oh, God. Behind some deserted housing developments.
So she's just scattering all over the place. Florida, not even just Daytona.
So Troy Burris was fully dressed with his pockets turned out and had 7 bullets. They had been delivered execution style. So now
they're on their knees. Mm-hmm. And she's, from the angle of the dangle.
Now, a lot of other sources and podcasters say that she hated cops. So this might be why she overkilled.
But she dated cops.
After that one video that one cop showed her, she was disgusted by him after that.
Yeah, that's true.
Disgusted. But at this point, it really just seems like she was
woman.
I know. She was killing for sport.
Insane.
Or robbery. To be exact. This was straight. This was easy money.
Yeah, for sure. And she's working it. She's just all over the state. It's insane to me.
All right. Eileen's last victim was Walter Antonio, a 61-year-old trucker, security guard, and reserve police officer. This was on November 17th, 1990, almost a year after her first kill. His body was found nearly naked and shot 4 times in Dixie County, and his car was later found in Brevard County. That's a big distance.
That might be the one I was talking about. Dixie County, right? Yeah.
That's where my parents live, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Brevard that's 5 hours away.
Brevard's on down south. Wait.
Yeah, it's about 5 hours away. That's where our wayward son was for a little while.
Yeah. Brevard. But goodness, she's just slaying all over the state. And that's number 7? Mm-hmm. Lindsay. And they're like just Joes. Like close to retirement, or they're good.
Like I said, I really believe
like they're good dudes.
Okay,
except for one.
I kind of believe the Richard Mallory story, but I think everybody else was just
I'd have gave her that one.
Samaritan.
I'd have gave her that one.
And whatever Richard Mallory did between 11 or 10:30 p.m. and then 5 a.m. the next morning,
he was trying to burgle her.
Could have been.
Is it burgle? No, what's it called?
Bugger.
Yeah. Oh,
From Game of Thrones.
Not Burger.
Game of Thrones lore. Buggery.
Buggery.
Yes.
There was some buggery in
You're guilty of buggery and high treason.
And that's also on Outlander, which we love too. Remember? Did he bugger you?
Yes. I think that they used
That
a
one
lot of
chick's
those.
like, yes, and I liked it. What was it? I was like,
I know.
okay.
All right. So
Well,
after
little
Game of
backdoor
Thrones, after House of Dragons rewatch, it's Outlander rewatch time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because hopefully we're going to get the last season.
Time the first couple seasons on that one.
The first season.
The first season.
That fucking piece of shit. All right, we're not going to talk about him.
Anyhow,
All right.
back to reality.
So after the sketches
This is the horrible reality. Go.
I know.
Go.
So after the sketches were out on the news, they were blasted everywhere. Ty got scared and moved back home to Pittston, Pennsylvania. Not Pittsburgh, Pittston.
So her folks were all the way up there, and she's down in Daytona trying to live it up.
So their previous landlords called up police and were like, hey, I know these two, and they are always up to no good. Because they were spectacles. I mean, they were...
It sounds like they were wide fuck open.
Yes. So along with matching pond items and blood, and there was a bloody handprint left in the Sunbird. They were on to Aileen. So on January 9th, 1991, hold on.
What?
Okay. Two undercover police officers that went by the name Bucket and Drums.
No, are you kidding me right now? Bucket? Bucket and Drums gonna find y'all.
Drums.
Y'all better watch out now. Don't be picking up no flap traps out there.
So they went to go hang out at the bar, the last resort. They show that in the movie.
I shared the picture of it.
Yeah.
In the shrine. It's on our website. DrinkaboutSomething.site.
Yeah.
But check out the shrine that they have there. You can go there.
Yes,
We need to go
still there.
there.
Well, hold on.
My sister went to all the spots there, by the way. And I'm jelly now that we're like nowing, because I didn't know, but now I know because we're nowing.
Because we've been to Daytona a lot. Jesse, stand by.
Thousands of. But anyhow, we're going.
But when we're there, we usually stay there in our spot because we're drinking. We don't drive around. We just walk everywhere.
No,
yeah.
But I want to make a point. Maybe not for Rockville, but go ahead. Sorry.
So the undercover police
Bucket.
officers named Bucket and Drum went to hang out at Last Resort where Aileen was a regular.
This is my last resort.
So they were posing as drug dealers from Georgia on vacation.
Hey, y'all got anything I can buy? My name
Which, I mean,
Bucket.
it's like, it makes sense. I mean,
Y'all got any flap traps in there? Anybody I can drive away with to Dixie County and we can do some buggery?
Where'd you get Dixie County? They're in Daytona.
I know. I'm talking about one of the murders that went to Dixie County.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Bucket wanted that ride. Come on.
So,
Come on, and take a free ride.
Aileen passed out on a chair after drinking all night, and the bartender left her there to sleep it off. And when she woke up, they arrested her for an outstanding warrant on one of her aliases.
So you woke up to the Bucket.
Bucket and Drums.
And the drums.
Do you know that the bar slogan became cold beer and killer women after that?
Cold beer and killer women on a Saturday night with Bucket and drum. Dude, that's awesome. Dude, I made a country hit right there.
All right, we got to keep going. We got to leave. Yeah, okay. So they locate Ty in Pennsylvania and got her to testify.
Leave me alone, Lindsay. I still got this song in my head. I want to write. I'm taking a drink.
All right, I'll take one too.
Bam Balam's good. Y'all should try it.
So they locate Ty in Pennsylvania and got her to testify against Aileen for immunity and to get her to confess through recorded jailhouse phone calls to get Aileen to confess. Aileen did finally confess, either to protect Ty or just to get it off her chest. Now, Ty was definitely a part of this because she knew at least about one. She knew about Richard Mallory and turned a blind eye to the rest.
I guarantee she
Eileen's just showing up with money, cars, and guns. I mean,
And she bragging about it wide open. I guarantee
Well, she did according to all the stories, she did for sure tell Ty about Richard Mallory. So this all immediately became a cash game. And prosecutors, Eileen's lawyer, and officers were trying to sell her story. This was a big deal. A woman serial killer that killed like a man? This was a big deal.
But it's only over like $500 a trick.
That was the most she got.
That's what I'm saying, Lindsay. What the fuck's going to make you do that over $500? I can't wrap my head around this.
I can't either. Like I said, I think my humble opinion here, along with her childhood, the fear of losing the love of her life, and honestly, the no longer wanting to fuck men anymore, but had no other skills or didn't know how to make money any other way. I think that it all just came to a head and there was a snap. I even if Richard Mallory had treated her the way he did.
I get this one. I get that one.
Yeah.
I get that one.
Why? I think that may have been the only self-defense, if that even happened, because she did tell 3 different stories about that. So, there was another version was that she just didn't want to do what he wanted to do, so she shot him. So like I said, that's pretty much what she told Dawn in the letter to her about that situation.
I don't know. I mean, I get that one. The rest, Paul Harvey's got to tell that one. I don't know.
Ugh. So the rest of the story. I
don't even know if we can even say the rest of the story.
That was the whole. That voice was the bane of my existence as a child when I had to go to work with my dad.
We grew up in the Paul Harvey generation.
God.
But that was like a real, I mean, honestly, I gotta hold up a little credit to Paul Harvey because that was like podcasting for sure. I mean,
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Go ahead there, Linz.
She had actually ran into a producer's mother before she was arrested who gave her daughter's card. She sold her story to that producer right away after she got arrested for $60 a month. A month. Not a week. A month.
Lindsay.
There have been 2 movies, as we know. The other one is called Overkill with Jean Smart, the tall blonde from Designing Women. She's been in several movies. I'll have to, maybe we'll watch that one too, because I've never watched that one.
Yeah, but I don't think anybody's going to match Monster.
No, because Charlize Theron transformed herself into Aileen, where Overkill made Aileen look like a sexier person. When I watched those
interviews, and I had never seen Aileen before, like real Aileen. I've watched the movie Monster with you before, and then we watched it again after, last weekend. I had never physically seen this woman.
Didn't she do a great
and
job?
Then, during this week,
it's
at work,
scary.
I mean, I thought it was the same woman. How? That was amazing. Wow. And she just had no concept of what real was real.
No.
And it was just
she lived in a very small, horrible world.
And she stripped down. She lived in a tent in the woods in like a commune type situation. Did a little Lannister work with her brother. He died off, got a little grip, and then that should have been. I
really think that the 2 main people, other than Dawn Botkins and somebody that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, Keith and Ty were honestly the 2 loves of her life.
I really feel like after her brother had died and she got that little bit of money, if she would have walked the right path, she could have become a great person. But there was still some things going on there mentally.
Well, yeah, let's recap.
And emotionally. Yeah, recap it all.
Her father was arrested, and she never met him, but he was arrested and sent to prison for the rape and murder of a 7-year-old child. He killed himself in prison after he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Okay. Her mom abandoned her with her grandparents, her and Keith, who ended up abusing, the grandfather ended up abusing her while the grandmother
with other
let it
people
happen.
Too. Let them come over. And
then she pretty much is selling herself for cigarettes, food, and drugs.
What did you call her? The cigarette
They called
pig?
her the cigarette pig.
Yeah.
And she was looking for affection from these boys while she was doing this as a teenager.
As a teen.
She's looking for affection from these boys who were doing this with her, but they treated her like a piece of shit.
And everybody sold her short, and she was fine with $5 probably, thinking that was a come up.
And then her grandmother dies, then her grandfather kills himself, then Keith dies. And, you know, she marries
It's really hard to be
a
ha
69-year-old man at 20 years old. She gets with a lot of older men. It was just a continual pattern of sadness.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And the real snap part was the only justifiable thing that she probably could have got out of. And then still settled for only only one $500 trick and thought that she had it going on. They're living lavish.
Yeah. $500 in the early 90s was a lot of money, but it
wasn't enough to get by.
No. I mean, this was just what she planned to keep doing.
It was like a 4-month span after that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyhow.
So she was tried for each murder in their different jurisdictions. She did keep the self-defense story going for a long time. But with her taped confession and Ty's testimony, her self-defense claim did not take, and she was found guilty of first-degree murder for all of them and was sentenced to death. Now, she was found guilty for only 6 of the murders because they never found Peterson's body. That was the one I was telling you about earlier. Never found his body, so she did not get tried for that. Because there wasn't a body.
So it was 8, really?
No.
It was 7,
it was
but
6.
only
She got
6.
tried for 6. Yeah, but there were 7 total.
I
we
bet
know
there were
about.
more, yeah.
So she told the judge in open court that she hopes he gets raped in the ass one day and that his wife and kids get raped right in the ass. That is verbatim. That is exactly what she said.
That's more buggery. That's more buggery than we need to know about.
So she got a lawyer named Dr. Legal, who was an old hippie who
Dr. Legal?
Yeah.
Okay.
who liked to smoke the ganja and do cover songs of Pink Floyd.
He's the one we call Dr. Legal. He's going to make it feel all right.
In a documentary I watched, he literally called the ride to see Aileen in prison a 7-joint ride and would play a tape of his own recorded music. And he had hair like Bob Ross.
Bob Ross? Was he painting pictures the whole time?
He had Bob Ross hair, yes.
Happy little clouds.
Now, he took her case pro bono thinking he could...
Sorry, fucker.
He took her case pro bono thinking he could also make money off her story and was basically her agent. Like, yeah, that's because she had already been tried.
I believe you, Aileen. The weed let me know.
He did this along with a woman named Aileen Portrayal. Aileen had took interest in Aileen from her first trial and would go on to be her adoptive mother so she could visit her because on death row, I'm pretty sure on death row, only family or spouses can visit. And the next of kin get rights when she was put to death. Like, because at this point, she actually had like a little legacy going.
A little celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I myself don't really know anything about celebrity serial killers other than the huge ones that we'll do way later on because there's so much content.
Well, she was a big one. She was a big one.
This is huge.
The next one, Gainesville Ripper, was actually not that popular, and you will be horrified. I mean, okay, I'm not going to tell anymore because I'm going to save that for later.
So I can't wait for next week.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so Arlene, not Aileen, but Arlene was a born-again Christian and a horse breeder. This whole relationship started because Aileen had said that Jesus told her that a Christian woman would write her a letter, and a couple of days later, she got a letter from Arlene.
From Ocala?
You know what? Probably. I didn't do
That's
a deep dive into Arlene.
Florida.
Yes.
Ocala's horse country in Florida.
Aileen seriously thought that she would get exonerated from all the murders and that she would go to live with Arlene and raise she-wolves.
She-wolves?
Yes.
They're just going to raise female wolves?
I guess so.
In Ocala? I don't know if this is Ocala.
I'm not 100% sure. I did not do a deep dive on Arlene.
We should have. We're going to find out. We're going to find out.
So Dr. Legal, which his name was Stephen Glazer.
Dr. Legal!
And Arlene would persuade Aileen to plead no contest.
This sounds like a circus to me.
It is, a lot.
I hope everybody fucked you in the butt, Judge.
I mean,
I am her legal
doctor.
Doctor Feel Good. What was it? Not Feel Good. Dr. Legal.
That's what it said.
Fucking Dr. Legal. Dr. Legal's got you, girl.
Dr. Legal, who was Stephen Glazer, and Arlene would persuade Aileen to plead no contest to the last 4 murder charges. But Aileen still got 4 more death sentences. See, Arlene told Aileen that if she went ahead and died, she would go get to meet Jesus a lot sooner.
You're struggling with all the Arleens and Eileen.
Yes, it's bad. So in 2001, after being on death row for about 10 years, Aileen did confess that the whole self-defense thing was a lie, and she had shot all the men in cold blood. But this was mostly to get the ball rolling on her death date, because they push him back and push him back. As we've seen from the West Memphis 3 case with Damian Eccles, he was on death row for 18 years.
Luckily, they pushed that one back.
Thank God, because
it sucks that they rotted so long in prison.
Because when you're on death row, you're in solitary confinement from day one.
But in this case, in this one, speedy trial, speedy execution. Sorry.
Yeah.
I seem like I'm a hard ass, and it's not really that justifiable as far as the legal system goes.
I still don't know how I feel about the death penalty, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, I'm on the. You can brand me with that.
She does say to Nick Broomfield in his documentary that it was self-defense, but she had to say otherwise to die, basically, and she was ready. So her last meal was KFC and French fries, and her last words were, "I would just like to say that I'm sailing with the rock, and I'll be back, like Independence Day with Jesus. June 6th, like the movie, big mothership and all. I'll be back. I'll be back."
You know, we took a break earlier, and I kept singing Martina McBride's Independence Day. Lindsay's like, "Why you keep saying?" I'm like, "It's in my head." What's in your head right now, Lindsay? What song right now?
Dr. Feelgood, because you're
Dr.
feel good.
I love it.
He's the one that makes you feel all right.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead. Finish this thing up. What a story. Goodness.
So on October 9th, 2002, at 9:47 a.m., Aileen was put to death by lethal injection. She had requested Natalie Merchant's song, Carnival, to be played at her funeral. That's what I sent you earlier this week.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. That's the jam.
Her and her Bible were cremated together and sent to Don Botkins, who spread them around a tree in Michigan. So she went back to where it all started. I will never be a serial killer, so I have no idea how I would want to die.
Off the pier in Daytona. Just be done with it.
No, I don't know if I'd want to die there either.
I like the cremation idea.
Oh, yeah. Cremation to me is because, you know why? I have fear of being buried alive.
Or they can make you into rocks. You know that?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Cremate me and make me into jewelry, put me in a tree, do something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we all go back to the earth. Native Americans.
And that's what I would rather do, is be back in the earth, not in a casket.
It's like, okay, when you look at all of what we're made of, you know, and what the universe is made of and everything, we all just go back to the earth.
I don't want to be in a casket.
Native Americans believe that. Why have we don't need a shrine, you know? I mean, you can have just give everybody a rock that's made out of me. That'd be cool. Like a rock.
Well, that concludes our two-parter on Aileen Wuornos.
Really cool, Lindsay. Really cool. I just wanted to go ahead and say that you're awesome. And this story's awesome.
Is it? Or horrific?
Horrifically awesome.
Awesome, yes.
And there was burglary going on. Burglary.
There's a lot of horrible factors.
But cheers, everybody. Our first serial killer. Goodness gracious.
The first of many to come.
The first of many. I've been dealing with Curtain Call Records myself.
So who you plugging today?
I got this cool band.
Okay.
Hang on, let me put this down. Because I'm geeking over here on my Bambalam, Blackberry Bambalam. And I want to play this really cool band. They're awesome, and they're from Curtain Call Records, and thank you, Curtain Call Records, and Gigi, and everybody. And
I got to get my phone.
Door 13 hit me up, and they were on our Drink About Something playlist that you can find on Spotify. It's really cool, and the song's called Ride or Die. And you know what happened this weekend? I got hit up by another group that wants us to play another song of theirs called Ride or Die. So I'm going to play that one later on. But yeah, I have this really cool jam, and I can't wait to share it with you guys.
I'm excited. What was the name of the band again?
They are called Door 13. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and crack these guys off. Amazing. Check them all out.
I'm excited.
Door 13. This song's called Ride or Die. Lindsay.
That was a good song.
These Curtain Call Records bands are so phenomenal.
Really good. I followed them on everything, including Spotify.
Back when my band was going good, they hit me up and wanted me to be on there. You think we were worthy?
Oh, yeah. Shadow of the Earth has some damn good music. You've done a good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
But these bands are phenomenal.
P.S. Check out Shadow of the Earth's music. They are not currently playing right now. In search of a singer. They have one in
we got one in the works.
It's
a male now. Mm-hmm. Which, the recorded singer was actually like our third singer. Mm-hmm. And she did a phenomenal job and really set the tone for our style. But yeah, Ride or Die by Door 13. Check them out.
Absolutely.
Check out Curtain Call Records.
I follow them on everything.
And they have music that's, we have a little soundtrack on here, and I'm going to beg her for more music because I love it. Thank you, Gigi. Thank you, Curtain Call Records. Mm-hmm. Every band on here is phenomenal.
Very good. Very good.
Top notch. Like, why aren't they getting Grammys?
Right.
And they some of them will be.
I was so excited to see our boys of Jagira.
Gojira!
My dyslexia. Jagira.
Gojira. I got you.
Won an Emmy. I love it when a metal artist. When a metal artist wins
I love it.
a Grammy
I
or
love it.
anything because
I feel like metal's coming back.
I
as being
hope
pop
so.
music.
But
Remember
that performance was out of this world.
Do you
Like I
remember
watch
when
it every time
metal
I get a
was
chance.
pop? You remember when that was popular music? God, we had such a great teenage, the 90s and the early 2000s.
It still pop to us.
Yes. But we will see you guys next Friday, right?
Yes, for part 1 of the Gainesville Ripper, or Danny Rolling, a.k.a. the Gainesville Ripper.
Yeah. If you like Scream, then you'll like this. So we'll see you guys then. See you guys next Friday.
Bye.